What is up, you guys? Rochelle here, and I am pregnant! For those of you who may not know, and I'm gonna say this just because I had no idea about this until just going through this process, your second trimester begins as soon as you hit 14 weeks. I've seen these videos all over YouTube where people like to do a first trimester recap, and I just thought that that'd be kind of cool for me to do. I'm gonna go over the symptoms that I had in the first trimester, how my whole first trimester experience was, my first early on symptoms before I even knew I was pregnant, and just where I'm at, and then give you a little bump date afterwards. Let's get into it. So I'm gonna start out with the very beginning. So I tested pretty early, but not so early that it wouldn't come up positive, you know what I mean? I knew I was riding that line, but I tested and obviously it was positive. And if you guys have not checked out my video where I find out that I am pregnant, I will link that in the description and you can go ahead and click it up here. So my husband and I were trying to get pregnant. We did not expect to get pregnant on our first month trying. My parents took 3 years to get pregnant with me, so I really didn't know where I stood. I knew that as far as I could tell, everything seemed to be normal, but you really never know. And I really did not think I was pregnant. So I've seen a lot of these videos where women have been like, oh my gosh, I just had this feeling, I just needed to test, because I just had this instinct. I really didn't think I had that. I will say, if you watch my video on where I find out that I'm pregnant, the day before I take that test, I am talking like, oh my God, I don't know what it is. I just feel like I need a test. So maybe I did have an instinct, but the thoughts running through my head were literally like so confident that I was not pregnant. For me, I was like, chill, so chill. I was just waiting for the timer to run out. And then completely surprised. So once again, you should go check out that video because it's kind of funny to see me like, nah, no way. And then like immediately like, wait, what's going on here? So you should definitely check that out. I took ovulation tests, blah, blah, blah. There is a period of time when you're trying to get pregnant that is the most frustrating time, which is called the 2-week wait. Basically the time from when you get a positive ovulation test to the time when you can actually test and maybe get a positive result. If you test any earlier than that, you're not gonna get a positive result, so there's just no point in testing, so you just have to wait. So it's like you're in this really weird limbo. And I also talked about this in my Finding Out I'm Pregnant video. I was just so freaking frustrated because all I could do was think about testing. So like your brain just goes wild. Like I'm not joking, you guys. Literally every single day it was in my head. But in that waiting period, you might start to experience some pregnancy symptoms, especially as you get closer to when you can test, because that's when your HCG levels are definitely going up. But here is what I was feeling. The first guys, like literally #1 symptom that I had was breast tenderness. My boobs were really sore. I literally remember feeling like twinges. Yeah, it was different. Like I've had breast tenderness before getting my period, before like that was normal, but it was a different kind of tenderness. By the way, just fair warning, there might be a little TMI in this video. I'm just gonna be open and honest with you guys. And if you don't like that, you don't have to watch. I respect you. But if you're here to really learn, then this is just what I've experienced. This breast tenderness was different. It was really like twinges, very sore. So that was my #1 symptom that I thought was weird. And I do remember the first moment that I felt like a weird twinge in my breast. And I was like, is this because I'm pregnant? So that was my #1. The next thing I noticed was that I was snappy with my husband. Like if he's like, hey babe, where did you put the oranges? I don't know. I'd be like, in the fridge. And then he'd be like, what did you say? And then I'd be like, in the fridge, they're in the fridge. It would come out of me before I could really control it. Even for myself, I would like surprise myself and like reel it back in. Let's just calm that down. And I would apologize to him, like, I'm sorry, I didn't need to be so snappy. I don't know why I'm being snappy. That was that. The other thing is that I was close to my period, so again, it was like I can be PMSing, so it could have just been PMS, you know? So breast tenderness, snappy. What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, the next thing I had was acne. Like all under my jawline, down my neck. I had acne that was spreading to like my collarbone and my shoulders. I will say now, I am clear. I think it's just like pregnancy hormones are helping me out with not having acne now. But in the beginning, they were definitely causing acne, like way more. So at this point, I was like, well, I've been off birth control for 4 months. Am I getting acne from pregnancy hormones? Or am I getting... Hello?
Hi, Boo.
Hi, baby. Okay, sorry about that. My husband just called me. It was like, am I breaking out because of pregnancy, or am I breaking out because I've just been off birth control for a while and that's kind of how my skin tends to react? Obviously, we know it was pregnancy acne. I had very minor symptoms. In fact, my whole first trimester was a breeze. I am not even exaggerating when I say that. It was so smooth and basically little to no symptoms. But I really wanted to put this video out there anyways, because even though I don't have as many things to recap on as other girls' videos, I think it's also important to put out these videos where it's like, hey, you can also have like a super easy first trimester. I remember being in my first trimester and I would watch these videos of women in their second trimester recapping how their first trimester was, and they would just talk about, like, literally every video I watched. I'm not saying every video out there is like this, but just the ones that I came across were all like, oh my god, my first trimester was the worst. I was nauseous constantly. I was throwing up all the time. I mean, it was like I was the exorcist throwing up. Literally, like, they had like all the symptoms. You would think that somebody who wasn't feeling those things in the first trimester would be like, oh phew, thank God I skipped out on that. But no, it actually gave me a lot of anxiety because I started to feel like, is my pregnancy not progressing the way it should? Could this be a really bad sign that I'm not feeling any of these things that these women are talking about other than breast tenderness? Especially when you're in your first trimester and you haven't even heard that first heartbeat. That's the scariest time, because usually your first doctor's appointment is usually not going to be until 8 weeks. So I found out when I was only 3 weeks pregnant, so 3 to 8 weeks, I was just like, God, I hope that this baby is staying in me. And then watching these videos where they were like, oh my god, I was feeling this and I was feeling that and I was going through this and I was doing that. Knowing that I wasn't feeling any of those things was actually like giving me a lot of stress and anxiety. So I actually stopped watching those videos. I just wanted to choose to trust the process. But I didn't see any videos of a girl just being like, yeah, no, I actually had it really easy. So I wanted to put this video out there for any of you who might have a very easy first trimester right now. And I want you to know that, like, don't have anxiety over that. It's okay. Every woman is different. Every journey is different. And sometimes you just get really lucky and fortunate to not have to deal with all of those really bad negative symptoms, but your baby is still totally healthy and growing strong and has an amazing heartbeat. Relax, take a deep breath. You're fine. Consider yourself lucky. So really, those were all of my symptoms that I was feeling before I tested. So now, going into when I found out I was pregnant, obviously it was an extreme surprise and it was the best blessing of my entire life. I did have light cramping, but that was literally so occasionally, like I barely even count it, but it was there sometimes and then it was gone. I could literally count, I think 3 times where I felt nauseous. I did not have morning sickness because I really don't think this counts. I have heard terrible stories from women and I don't think it's fair for me to put my 3 times of a little bit of nausea in the same category as a woman experiencing real full-blown morning sickness. So I did not have morning sickness. I did have 3 moments when I felt nauseated a little bit, and it was never during the morning. The first time I felt it was in the evening, so it was evening sickness. But literally it was like, oh, I just needed to eat something. But I wouldn't even have to eat a full meal to make it go away. I could literally eat a tangerine and it'd be gone instantly. One thing I did experience more often than that was heartburn. I've definitely had more Tums in my pregnancy journey than I ever have had in my entire life. Heartburn was never a part of my life before getting pregnant, but after getting pregnant, it would mostly happen when I went too long before eating again. So basically, like before I got pregnant, I would just eat my 3 meals a day and I wouldn't snack in between. But when I got pregnant, it was kind of impossible to do that because if I just waited between meals without eating anything at all, then I would get heartburn. So that was a thing. I did have to start eating more snacks throughout the day, but very easily managed also. Like all of these things were very light and easy. I haven't been very emotional. I cry. I can definitely cry, okay? I can cry anytime. It's like a superpower. But I'll say I cry out of happy things. Like I'm not like, there's no depression, there's no anything like that. I haven't like lashed out at my husband. What else? I think it'll be easier if I actually just find a list of common first trimester symptoms and read that off to you and let you know what I did have and what I did not have. Okay, here we go. Ready? Oh yes, increased urination. Yes, yes, yes. I was peeing all the time. Okay, fatigue. So this was another thing that I heard of so much, even for women that I knew that had very easy pregnancies in first trimesters. The one thing they did have was a lot of fatigue. And I just heard about this pregnancy fatigue, like it's just so intense. It's the most tired you've ever felt in your entire life. This is not normal fatigue, it is pregnancy fatigue. And I didn't experience that at all. There were a couple moments when I would fall asleep on the couch like midday, which is different for me because I absolutely despise midday naps. Normally, pre-pregnancy me hates naps. But during my pregnancy, there were a couple moments when I was like, yeah, a nap does feel really good right now. And so if I wanted to, I would take a nap. But also, if I didn't feel like taking a nap and I was like, no, but I want to get my work done, I didn't have to. Food cravings and aversions. So I actually did get a couple aversions. Wow, I'm actually surprised at how many symptoms I'm getting on this list. Not so much food cravings. Well, wait, there was one. It was more like something that popped into my head that just sounded like it wouldn't actually be that bad of an idea. I was watching my husband scramble up some eggs and I'm gonna have like sliced up apple and peanut butter. I looked at my apple and I looked at his eggs, and my mind just went, chopped up pieces of apple, scrambled in eggs, doesn't sound like such a bad idea. There was definitely a part of me that was like, it actually might be something we just have not tried and discovered yet, but it might be like the best thing in the world. So that was a weird one for me. That was literally the first time that I had ever felt I had like an idea of a weird food combination that I would never think of any other time. But of course, I did not try it, I did not do it, and I never would. So aversions I did have. I made plant-based chicken fajitas one day, which are like my favorite. One of my favorite meals to make ever is fajitas. I enjoyed them the first day I made them, and then I had leftovers the next day, and I looked at them in the fridge and literally thought they were the grossest thing. Like, no. The thought of like soft bell pepper, no. And then the other version that I had was something, again, that I was very used to before pregnancy that I loved, which is like a baked salmon, a baked tilapia, like a baked fish, mixed veggies, steamed rice, whatever. I made it once, enjoyed it that first day, and then I could not eat it again. I don't know what it was. It made me so grossed out. I could not stand it. And then other than that, I don't know if this counts in the cravings, but basically throughout my whole pregnancy so far, I have needed to incorporate like sour things into my foods. So jalapenos, sauerkraut, buffalo sauce, like I needed like these like kind of spicy, sour kind of things in all of my meals. So constipation, no. I heard that constipation is a very common pregnancy symptom in general, not even just in your first trimester, but just in general. So I made sure that I was really getting a lot of whole grains in my diet as well, a lot of fiber-rich things. Spotting and bleeding during the first trimester, no. none of that. But just so you know, if you do have light spotting, light bleeding, I'm not a doctor, but usually they say it's normal. Headaches, yes, I did have that a couple times, but it wasn't that big of a deal. It was like, take some Tylenol, it went away. First trimester bloating, absolutely. I was definitely bloated to the point where at only 5 weeks I was like, do I have a baby bump? But no, it was just bloating. First trimester insomnia, did not have that. Weight gain in the first trimester. If you struggle with like vomiting in your first trimester, a lot of women actually lose a lot of weight, and so they don't gain weight in their first trimester. They're actually at a deficit, or maybe they break even with what they were. For me, since I didn't have any of those symptoms, I did not lose any weight, I just gained. But I only gained 3 pounds total, so basically like a pound a month. But I am in my second trimester and they say, this is where it ramps up, ladies. I don't really care. At the end of the day, you have to know you're growing a freaking human inside of your body. Let your body do what it's gotta do. Okay, that is it. There's literally nothing else I can think of that I went through. All in all, my first trimester was so easy. I am super grateful. So my baby is good. So let me just give you a quick bump date before I get off of here. This is my baby bump. So yep, I am 15 weeks and 3 days. I can't give you guys the up angle, but when I look down, I can see like this little round belly, and it just makes me so happy. So yeah. But yeah, if you have not been following my pregnancy journey and you're just joining me, but you're interested in following my pregnancy journey, please check my channel for all of those videos that I've uploaded so far. Thank you so much for being here. Even if you don't follow my pregnancy journey, but you watch this video, thank you so much. If you don't mind giving it a thumbs up and commenting down below what your experiences have been, how you've been feeling, I want to hear from you. I hope you have an amazing day. Hit subscribe if you feel like it. If you do that, just make sure you also hit that bell, because otherwise you could be subscribed, but you're still not going to get notified if you don't hit that bell. And I will catch you on the next pregnancy journey episode. Bye!
Shiver, 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 oh no. At the thought of someone new with their hands all over you. Need a way to numb the pain. I'm down and liquor only. Is she prettier than me? Would she give you what you need?